Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of
You Had Us at Damn.
This time, we're talking about SA's very brand spanking new moolah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a very interesting episode. This is gonna be quite fun. Well, not really fun, but we're gonna try and make it fun because, like, we're talking about inflation, we're talking about the recession,
We're talking about businesses and like how maybe you, as a business owner in this country, can potentially have your come up during this recessionary period. But yeah, so like, you know, SA has been going through the motions,
right? Like we're like electricity crisis. We have we got all the infinity stones of problems as a
pretty
country.
much. Rule of law does not exist.
Exactly, crumbling infrastructure.
100%.
But what is the solution?
Simple, right? You see the current money you have? How about you just take that and then just make it new again.
Yeah, make it more fake.
Forget about all the problems, bro. Like, make it more colorful too. The kids are gonna love it, man. They're just gonna go out there and just buy more money because that's how money works, right?
Yeah, I don't even know at this point. But anyways, I don't know why we're doing it, but I researched it and I saw, and it makes sense. So
like the main thing is because of changing counterfeit standards in the world of how money is protected from, you know, being faked and forged and stuff like that. South Africa genuinely did need to update itself, but yeah, so it was just finally time. It's just the timing of it though is really not the best timing.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's like having a to-do list, 30 lists long, with 30 items long, and then seeing that, you know what, the 27th item is change the money.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff around like 1 and 2 in terms of electricity, but anyways, it is what it is. I've seen the new money. I've seen it. It's quite...
What do you think? I actually haven't come across it yet.
It's not special. I'm not gonna lie, bro. It looks more fake. It doesn't feel real.
You know what's cool?
Yeah.
Like in the EU and stuff, their money is like plasticky.
Yeah.
Right, so that like if you throw it into the wash and stuff like that, that it just comes out, you know, the same. You don't need to worry about it. So I was hoping that with the new change, they're gonna do something like that. But
it's still paper. Just more fake. It's more colorful.
Yeah.
But they're including a lot of, they include more ecological designs. Like, for example, even the 5 rand coins and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
There's more plants and, like, you know, that being taken into account. And
okay. So finally the heads debate's gonna stop then because the head of the animal is actually... Because you know the whole thing, right? Everyone's like, heads used to be on the backside because coat of arms in England and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah. But
constant
for me,
thing.
Heads was other side, coat of arms was tails. Everyone knew this.
Nah, it's other way around. You know what? Fine.
Let's not do that.
Let's not. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But what I do appreciate, as some of you may not know, I went to a school for the visually impaired.
Yeah.
So they added a lot more accessibility onto the money itself in terms of tactility, where you can actually physically feel the differences between the different notes.
Yeah.
Right, where previously there was not much you go off outside of the color and stuff like that, because some people who are blind are not like fully blind; they can still perceive color, but just not like see. So they're actually adding physical tactility to it now, so you would be able to tell yourself what notes you have when, which is really interesting. I really like that. Though.
Yo. Okay, let me carry on talking. I was about to say something. Like, so people just like, there was like 100 rand change. It's like,
yeah, no, that's not how it works, buddy. Okay, like you'd have to have some faith in society, right? Normally, like you would have someone to, you know, help you out and assist you in what's happening. But yeah, you know, like it's really cool. It's really cool, the SA government, but it's so interesting that the money we have now, right?
Yeah.
Like over the different years, we've had the different change back in like the 2010s and stuff like that. How much less it's worth.
Oh yeah.
Like.
No, but like, can we just go back to the old days right now? Remember those old 10 rand notes that used to mean everything in life?
Dude, yeah, one of those, you were rich, son.
You were rich, you were done, you were sorted, you were like, life was good. If you had a 20, you were like, you know, you were balling. You were middle class, you know.
Walk into the store, buy a pie, a cold drink, a sweet, and still have change, bro.
Dude, walking with the 50, you're doing too much. 100, that doesn't exist.
Bro.
Like, I probably held, like, as a kid, I probably held 100, like, a couple of times. 200, that was probably once.
I think I can definitely counted the amount of times in my hand where I held money, and most of the time was just like, hey, go give it to this adult, because
That was the only time. That was the only time. But yeah, dude.
not like to actually go spend it myself. Because,
Oh, I still remember the first time I learned the concept of change.
yo, that was wild.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's like you telling me I'm gonna give you this money, I'm gonna get what I want, and still get money back.
Like, yo, it's wild. With me, it was the concept that the paper money was
Yeah.
worth more than the coins, right? Because there would be so many coins, right? And you'd be like, but
Just you have to be rich from this.
yeah, exactly, right? Like, how are you poor? Like, how does that even work?
Right.
Dude, nah.
But with that, I was also there was also a type of inflation that I was actually really interested in, or that really first occurred to me as a child, which was the idea of I don't know. I used to love Hot Wheels as a kid. Used to always, you know, when you'd be walking with your mom and you'd see it and you'd stop and your mom would carry on and then you would just
the heartbreak.
and the heartbreak of seeing that she didn't stop with you and be like, oh, that's nice, and grab it. Like, I don't know. That's why I waited for a long time. I'd like look at it and be like, "Ay, Ma, come on."
Your Hot Wheel changed to Porsches now.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. But anyways, but I noticed back then it was like, I think it was like 20 Rand for Hot Wheels, like just one thing, which felt like
that was
everything.
wild.
Now I look back at it now and it's like $50
For one.
for one.
That is crazy.
For one. That was like back in 2018. I was like 50.
That is okay. You see, that is an example of like inflation, right? So you're like it is. It definitely is.
The next topic.
Hey, it works, right? It definitely is a form of inflation, but also remember, companies want higher profits, so there's definitely some of that involved there as well. So inflation is basically that the same amount of money you have, like the more money every year there's more money that's put into circulation, right?
Yeah.
And the amount of money that is in circulation will determine how much, you know, it's worth, right?
Yeah,
but then resources are finite, right? Like, they finish. But then if your money increases but the resources stay the same, obviously then the prices of stuff are going to go up, because hey, more people want to buy these things, but there's not more of the stuff. So that tends to lead to a gradual increase in price year on year. Now, in the Northern American, European countries and stuff like that, right? They genuinely shoot for a 1 to 2% inflation rate, right?
Yeah.
Which, like, even 2 is a bit high sometimes, right? So normally, year on year, your income stays the same, which is why annual raises are not really a thing, right? Especially like in the US, because they shoot for like 1% basically. So like your money stays the same, is worth the same amount each year, right?
Yeah.
Whereas here, our target, according to the SARB, is 3 to 6%, right?
3 to 6. Okay, so
3 to 6%. Like
more than double than the US.
pretty much, but that's also why annual increases are such a thing here, because each year your money would be worth 3 to 6% less if you didn't get that increase, right?
Yeah.
I used to be so confused at that when I first saw contracts, because it would be like, yeah, I know you're getting an annual raise of like 5%, and it's like, what?
To do the same thing.
Exactly.
Not even
right?
work harder, just doing the same thing continuously.
Exactly, but no, it's so that you keep up with the pace of change of the economy. Sometimes that leads to an actual real increase in your wage, because then, you know, maybe the economy does better than you expected, but you still got your increase, so
You good?
you good,
You're
bro.
coining that 1%. You're owning
Exactly.
that. Yeah.
But yeah, like I think like the inflation tends to hit the lower classes of society the hardest.
Yeah.
Right? Like, not classes, but like the more or less fortunate people, right? Like, including me. I've been feeling it, bro. I have been feeling this. this is hurting. But also small businesses and stuff like that.
Yo, dude. Like everything is just becoming more like difficult to kind of like grow and move forward, because it's like things are cutting down, and it's like it's crazy to feel the pain at the bottom, but it's mad to just think that even the guys at the top are feeling it.
True.
With the amount of layoffs with Facebook and all of that stuff, with a previous episode we had about it. I am, you know, shamelessly plugging. But
Hey, for some of you guys who might not know, we do have an audio podcast that's been going on for quite a while, so just go check that out on like Spotify, you know.
But anyways, yeah, those layoffs and them making cost cuts, it's like, yo, they're also feeling it. So it gives a level of gloom and hopelessness that people have, especially even with the initiative to start. But do you think we should have that?
Like start businesses.
Yeah.
I think, it is rougher, especially trying to get like loans and stuff from banks during inflationary periods and stuff like that, because interest rates are much higher.
Yeah.
It's a very risky time. But if you look at some of the biggest, I guess inflation does tend to come along with recession, right? So it's a balancing act. But if you look at like some of the biggest companies to come around during the previous recessions that happened, you had Airbnb,
Right.
like WhatsApp. You were mentioning earlier about freaking like how the Japanese car industry just
Oh yeah,
entered
I'd
the
love
US.
to talk about that. Yo, I think that's a proper like interesting topic around the recession and like the level of how it, I don't know, it levels out the competition a little bit in terms of, it's not just because when things are good, the people who are killing it, they stay good, they stay ready, they keep thriving. But when things get knocked down, those big guys are flabby. They're
bloated.
They're bloated. You know what I'm saying? It's hard for them to move. So when they get knocked down to size, that allows for the new upcomers to come in and come in swinging. So the whole
execute
underlog.
leaner, meaner strategies that are a lot more effective and efficient as well, right?
Exactly, bro.
And then recessions do eventually come to an end. When they do come to an end, that just leads to huge booms in profits because they were so lean in the beginning already.
Yeah,
right?
I think, what is it? Japanese. Yeah. So basically, anytime there's a car talk, I'm there, guys.
Yeah.
So basically, back in the 70s, there used to be a real increase in, there was a high demand for Cadillacs, those big muscle cars and all of that. Gas was all over the place. But then gas prices increased and there was there was a fuel shortage and there was, problems around there. But that's when Japan came in and attacked the US market with Toyotas, with Datsuns, with all of that. They came through and they provided a cheaper solution which cost less fuel and it still maintains a level of functionality and practicality. And with that, they started to consume the market. And the US juggernauts were trying to catch up, but it's because of, number one, them coming with the better solution, innovative and all of that, but also their methodology of creation. I think it was it's not Kaizen, it's like continuous improvement. I forgot what it's called. It was a Japanese philosophy. Maybe you guys can comment on
is it the one with the broken pieces of if a plate's broken or something like that? Oh, okay, not that one.
No,
Okay.
just
because
the
that's
one
kintsugi, but yeah.
Continuous improvement. But with that level of continuous improvement allowed for Japan to just never let loose. They just kept on growing, keep on, to the point that now they're juggernauts. Now Toyota is one of the biggest mass producers just because of that philosophy.
Yeah.
And that's all caused from recessions. That's all caused from the capabilities of adapting
to changing times and circumstances. Yeah, I completely agree. So it's if you are a business, right? There are, yes, it might seem very daunting to enter a market in this time, right?
Yeah.
But the rewards far outweigh the risks, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right? Because the potential outcomes from entering, especially because you know what kind of market you are in right now, entering with the strategy for the market right now, obviously keeping aware of where the market is going, would really let you properly establish yourself when things start to go good again, right? And that would really help boost your income, your revenue, and everything like that. It would be rough, but it is not impossible.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Nah, I like that. That level of philosophy within business and starting within a recession. It's crazy. You were listing out also the other businesses that actually started. I was actually also thinking about the last big recession and all of that depression that we had in terms of the global crisis. I mean, in the global housing crisis, and how literally 2008,
2009,
we had WhatsApp came through and killed it, annihilated.
Cell phone market plans were too expensive, bro. People couldn't keep up anymore.
Right? People wanted to talk to everyone right there and then for free. And WhatsApp came through with an innovative solution. And that in itself allowed for them to be like synonymous
One of
right
the
now.
biggest players in the space right now.
What else? I don't even know. It just allowed for that boom. And the fact that now we're getting into that state, it makes me want to be way more in the books in terms of understanding what market trends are moving towards. So we know that, hey guys, in a couple years' time, our kids will look at us being like, yo, we did this and this and this, and that's why
We made the right moves at the right time,
Yeah.
right? I mean, yeah, it's so interesting because like you'll look at stock graphs, right, as a kid, and you'll be like, oh, it went down by 1%, up by 1%, whoop, big whoop, right? And
Yeah.
the up and down by 1% doesn't really matter, right? Because you're gonna fluctuate around a certain point, right? What matters is like the trend, looking at where it's going. It went up and down by 1%, but then maybe it's been going up 1% but down 2% every month, right? Like up 1, down 2, up 1, down 2. Then you know, oh snap, in like 5 months' time, it's gonna be worth a whole lot less. Maybe if I do have investments in this, probably best to back out now, right?
And plus,
So, yeah.
there've also been a few, think about it, one of the greatest trilogies started in a recession.
Which one?
The Dark Knight trilogy.
Right.
It got $1 billion in the box office and
During
it
a
was in a
recession.
recession.
True.
Like straight up, that's
True.
crazy.
That is mad, actually. Dang.
Iron Man started, the MCU started in a recession.
It's wild though, right? Okay, but to be fair, if you look at it though,
Yeah.
with Iron Man specifically, they hired Robert Downey because he was dirt cheap at the time. Because
of
Mans
drugs.
Mans was basically down on his luck. But
Yeah.
nah, he came through. But hey, you know what? We should actually probably get talking about the whole superhero thing. But nah.
Yeah, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. We'll get
right?
to it.
That's yeah.
A lot of interesting tools. This is a weird question. I don't know if we can have an answer for it, but what do you think? What kind of business do you think would boom in this recession? Or recession that, I don't know, are we in or we not?
We're kind of in. Actually, no, definitely in. I would say it won't be something we expect. I don't think it's going to be your AI companies or your crypto companies. I feel like it's going to be something we didn't see coming. Maybe it's going to involve AI, but like with anything, like it's the latest hype cycle, right? So
Yeah.
it is definitely powerful. Don't get me wrong. It is definitely powerful. And like, I will still strongly advise people to give it a try, but I don't think it's going to be the biggest boom. I feel like it's going to be the thing that's going to help the most amount of people during this time. That's going to be what's going to boom, right? Like, so yeah.
That's crazy.
For all you know, like, imagine someone makes an app that can skirt the Great Firewall in China, bro. Like,
Yeah.
that would be killed in an instant, but
Yeah.
it'd be wild.
But I don't know. I like this vibe. I like this place. Yeah, I think we're good to close this one off.
Straight up. It's been another episode of
Yeah, had
Had
a
a
Sad
Sad
Damn.
Damn.